On Thursday night, Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss. He was arrested, put into custody of the religious leaders who tried him with a kangaroo court that was only going to accept one verdict. Before he even reached the cross, Jesus was beaten with fists. He was slashed with whips to within an inch of his life. He was shaved, in a sense, by the Roman soldiers plucking out his beard. And then he carried his cross through the streets of Jerusalem. And as he hung there between heaven and earth on this excruciating torture device known as the Roman cross, a specific execution instrument that the Romans used on their worst enemies, Jesus suffered and died for 6 hours, starting at 9 a.m. when his wrists and his feet were pounded into the wooden cross. He was hoisted, and there he suffered. At noon, the sky began to change as God began to betray what was going to happen in the spiritual world, portraying it in the physical world. It got dark at noon. As Jesus hung there, he took upon himself the sins of the world. Every man, woman, and child that was, is, and will be, all of our sins were placed upon him. And the full wrath of God's punishment for our sins was poured out upon Jesus. When the weight of that moment hit Jesus, he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And 3 hours later, he breathed his last, having drained the cup of God's wrath for all of us. He cried out, "It is finished," and he paid our debt in full. That was Friday, and everything looked bleak for the disciples. Everything looked bleak for his followers. Hell was rejoicing. The religious leaders were ecstatic. They had eliminated Jesus. They had silenced his voice. But that was Friday. Saturday and Sunday are coming.